Now, I can tell you I've been in these battles for a long time. Before I even got involved in politics, I was battling these very same people, big corporations, insurance companies, drug companies, and I did beat them over and over and over. I've got some experience in this. That's what it's going to take to bring big change in this country. And these entrenched big interests, they do not want to see big change. That's the last thing in the world they want to see. They like it exactly the way it is. Well, we will not have universal health care. You're not going to have serious tax reform, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. We're not going to have a serious effort to end global warming and transform the way we use energy. We're not going to strengthen the middle class in this country unless we're willing to take these people on. We have to take them on. We have to express the outrage that so many of us feel about a man like James Lowe, who lived 50 years in the richest country on the planet, having absolutely no ability to cure a problem that kept him from being able to speak. You know, we have to have him inside us as we're engaged in this cause. And your voice needs to be heard. It does. I mean, here in Iowa, you have a powerful voice because the caucuses on both sides are going to play a big role in who the nominees are for president. And then, based on my experience, you're also the state's going to play a big role in determining who the president of the United States is going to be. And your voice needs to be heard in this process. So I believe that actually fixing the economy is a critical part of making this country work, of getting us back on the right track. Not a country where just a few people are doing well, but where everybody gets a real chance. And we can't do it with baby steps. We just can't. You know, for too long we've thought, well, you know, we have to be careful, we have to be cautious. You know, the interests on the other side are too strong. We're past all that. It's time for us to show a little backbone. It's time for us to show leadership and strength. And we need big, bold ideas to bring the change to this country. Now, here's what I believe. I believe there are three big things that need to be done to strengthen this economy. And make it fair. Make it fair for everybody so that everybody gets a chance. First, we need to reform our tax system to reward work instead of just rewarding wealth, which is what we're doing today. Second, we need to negotiate and enforce smarter trade agreements that benefit workers and consumers in this country. And finally, we need to demand, require corporate responsibility and for corporations to treat their workers fairly. All those things are necessary to get this economy back where it needs to be. Today I want to focus on the tax code, which I believe should represent the values that most of us believe in this country. What's happened, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, is the tax code has effectively shifted the burden onto the backs of working Americans, the very people who are already struggling and who are already burdened. This is wrong. It undermines our core values of work and fairness, what all of us believe in, and it also slows down the economy, which we've seen happen over the last 5 to 10 years. The great engine of growth in this country is not just a few people who are doing well. It's a growing, strengthened middle class. It's the teachers, factory workers, engineers, the people who really made this country what it is today. Not money managers. The people who made this country, who built this country and made it what it is today. So what I'm going to do as President of the United States is I'm going to rewrite this tax code to make it fair, fair to working families, fair to people who work hard for a living, like those in Iowa, and so that we can see all Americans succeed and see America succeed. Because we all have a stake in this. This means that poor and middle class families who work hard and save and do what they're supposed to do will have a real chance in this country. It also means that those who are at the very top, who have benefited over and over and over from living in America, and in many cases from special rights that are given to those at the top, they're going to once again pay their fair share. They're going to have to carry their part of the responsibility and the burden. So first I want to talk today about 3 new tax cuts that I believe actually honor what we believe in this country: savings, work, and family. Starting off, we need to encourage families to save so that they have assets, so that they can buy a home, they can send their kids to college. I know a lot of you know this already, but we have the worst savings rate in the industrialized world. And Americans don't save. There's a reason for that, because we're pushed to the limit every single day. Middle-class families just paying their bills, and the cost of everything, health care, gas, college tuition is all going up so dramatically. So there's a reason people don't save. And what's happening now is we give the big savings breaks, the savings tax breaks, to people who don't need help to save. People who are already saving, people at the top who have enough excess income that they can save and do it easily. We're going to turn that around. What we're going to do is help millions of American families build a better life by providing a dollar-for-dollar match up to $500 a year for what they're able to save. We call these get-ahead accounts. But the idea is you save $1, we match it with $1, up to $500 a year, so that you can actually accumulate something. We're all worried, right, about Social Security. Everybody's concerned about whether Social Security is going to be there. What this does is allow families to accumulate some assets so that they have something for later and something they can fall back on in the case of an emergency. In my case, being able to go to college was such a crucial part of me being able to do what I've been able to do. I was blessed to be the first person in my family to go to college, and this is why I believe, this is an idea that I've had for years now, something called College for Everyone should be available to every young person in the country. We have actually put it in place in a low-income area of eastern North Carolina, but the idea is really very simple. We being Elizabeth, myself, others who help raise the money for it privately, it's not government money. But it's a very simple concept. Graduate from high school, qualified to be in college, and commit to work when you're there, at least 10 hours a week for the first year. We pay for your tuition and books for the first year. So the idea is you get kids in college, if they're willing to work, they don't give it to them, you got to work for it, but it helps reduce the burden that so many college kids are faced, this debt burden that so many of our young people are faced with. All kids should have that opportunity. We're also going to do more to honor work and working families in this tax code. What we're going to do is create something called work bonds for low-income working families, and it's the same kind of concept, but instead of being saving for later, it's actually just essentially a regular savings account. What happens with these work bonds is the same thing. We match what's able to be saved, and remember, it's very difficult for low-income families to save. But we match what they're able to save, and then they have something to fall back on. The result is they don't have to go to payday and predatory lenders when it's two days before payday, and they've run out of money. So basically what we want to do is help them to save. We're also going to expand the Earned Income Tax Credit, which is a refundable tax credit for low-income families. Again, making work pay for lower-income families. Get rid of the marriage penalty, which still exists in the Earned Income Tax Credit, and expand its use and make it available to single workers, which it largely is unavailable to today. So with these get-ahead accounts, work bonds, expansion of the Earned Income Tax Credit, and then finally we're going to expand the child care credit, which today, too in the weeds, but today you're eligible for up to $3,000 of child care expenses. You get a tax credit on a portion of that $3,000. We're going to raise that cap to $5,000 and raise the credit to 50%. So now it'll be 50% of $5,000. The bottom line is, if you got kids and you're paying for child care, you got to get a significantly bigger break in helping you pay for your child care. That's what it boils down to. So these are basically four big improvements: get-ahead accounts, the work bonds, child care, expansion of the child care tax credit, and expansion of the Earned Income Tax Credit. So these things take revenue out of the system because all these things cost money. I mean, people are getting help for a variety of reasons and a variety of things. It's not free. It costs something. So the question is, how are we going to pay for it? Here's how we're going to pay for it. We're going to start with unearned income, which are capital gains and dividends. Study after study has shown that low capital gains rates applied to the wealthiest Americans don't add anything to our economy. It adds to their wealth, but it doesn't add to the growth and strengthening of the American economy. They do add, unfortunately, to deficits, and they take away resources that could go to something that really matters for this country. So here's what I'm going to do as president. First, I will repeal George Bush's tax cuts for families earning more than $2,000. capital gains